Howdy, howdy, and greetings from outside the pool at my parents' complex. I was trying to describe yesterday how it's a greenhouse with an indoor pool and then a bit of a sun deck. Let me tilt this a little bit. You can see there's some chaise lounges and a lanai, a pergola, I think is what this is called. I was trying to figure that out in Fredericksburg. But anyway, it's hot today. And apparently the lifeguard gets a break from noon to 12:45, and I didn't try to come out till 12:10. It's about 12:17 now. So I am going to do the video. I did want to, I need to lower it a little bit. I don't know. I wanted you to see that I bought some of the local paraphernalia. Washington Nationals football t-shirt was on sale at Sam's Club yesterday. Oops, how'd I get this back up? There we go. So I actually bought one for me and my father. I think the same exact shirt. That's a little too high. I hope you enjoyed the pond at Claude Moore local park yesterday. I'm going to lay out here some. DC has decided to put a heat advisory in today because it's going over, well, it's not going over 100. The real feel, air quote, is going to be like 104, so they're all in a panic. Hey, Texans, you say, hold my beer and watch this, you know, it's really over 100 in Texas. But they, you know, I was watching or listening to something from Dr. Hardy, the occupational psychologist that I take a course with. And I think it was just one of his regular YouTubes, and it talks about how the whole role of the media is to make you feel depressed, to give you all the negative, keep you down and kind of dependent on them and the government. So my idea of this, we're having a heat index because the real feel is over 100, is just another way to depress people, to get them upset, to make them subservient. If they don't have something bad to actually talk about, because the temperature is only going to be like 95, then they have to make something up so they can give you bad news. I'm trying to cut a lot of that out of my life, and when I'm at a house sit, I really don't watch the news, but Mom likes to have it on. If it's not a game show, it's the news channel. So I have a continuous trickle of bad news while I'm here. And she's getting a little bit harder of hearing, so it's really loud. So I can't really get away from it unless I come to the pool or something. I'm really enjoying being with them though, so no complaints. I just got dust on my lens here. It is hot out here, and I came yesterday and the sun got really hot, but I did want to see this new shirt. I'm starting to kind of become a local again. But that's not what I came here to talk about today. I've mentioned on my Facebook feed that I was looking into a cruise for the end of October. Well, as of now, as of last night, we booked it. I will be on the Allure. I'm getting sweat in my eyes, which is making me kind of squinty. The Allure of the Seas will be leaving Fort Lauderdale on October the 15th for an 8-night, 9-day cruise where we'll go to a cruise-lined island off of Haiti. If we sailed all the way to Hawaii, it would take more than 8 days, I'm sure. But off of Haiti, which I've never been to, I think it's a day at sea, and then a day at Haiti, and then a day at sea, and we arrive at Aruba, the Aradenstead, or whatever the main port is. Then the next day we go to Curacao, and then we have 2 days at sea before we get back to Fort Lauderdale at like 6 in the morning. 9 days later. So we booked the cruise. We have an interior cabin. I figure, you know, you don't need to see out a little porthole while in the middle of the night when you're sailing where there's nothing to see except maybe another ship coming at you. You might see a bird or a whale, but you can see that from the main deck too. Yes, we're tight. That's why we go with the cheapest. And we don't have an assigned cabin. We have an assigned cabin class, so we will get assigned a cabin, an interior cabin somewhere on the ship, which in my research of it, I found out that this Allure of the Seas was actually the largest cruise ship in the world when it launched in 2009, and it's had a couple of updates since then, and there's also a couple bigger ships now. Its sister ships in the same class are a little bit bigger, but anyway, I think it says it has 7 neighborhoods 23 free dining options, and I think about 7 to 12 that you can upgrade to and pay for, like top of the line steak, lobster, seafood, that kind of stuff. But I'm pretty sure I will stick with mostly the free food. You know, for the price, it's hard to beat. It's only about double what my rent was per night. And we booked the Amtrak from Fredericksburg, where my friend lives, so somebody will drop us off at the train. It's like a 23-hour train ride down. And then I found an Airbnb. I guess it's in Fort Lauderdale. It's about 3 miles, I think, from the airport and 4 miles from the cruise terminal, cruise port. But it's also right across the street from the local train, which we can ride from the Amtrak station down to the house and then back to the Amtrak station. Because I believe the Amtrak leaves at like 9 o'clock in the morning, and we booked it the day after the cruise. Even though the cruise gets in at 6, we didn't want to have to rush to get there. So this Airbnb is, I think, a studio apartment. It has a queen bed and a pull-out, I think, queen bed and a sofa, which everybody says was very comfortable in the reviews, and a small kitchenette, apartment-sized freezer, refrigerator, a dual hot plate, and it's a few miles from the Hard Rock Casino, a few miles from the airport, a few miles from the cruise port. I believe that's $150 a night, so with 2 of us it'll only be $75 a night, same as a hotel. I haven't actually pushed the button to book it yet, but we have booked the Amtrak down and back. Like I say, about 23 hours of riding each way. Fortunately, we leave Fredericksburg about 8 o'clock at night, so by the time we're into North Carolina, it'll be dark. We can go to sleep, and then by the time we wake up, hopefully we'll be in Georgia or Florida. The scenery will be a little bit better. I don't believe it actually goes down the coast. I think it goes to Orlando and then down to Lauderdale, which is not Orlando is not a coastal city, so we probably won't be riding along the ocean, but at least we'll be relaxed. And actually, our round trip train was about half of what the best airfare was. And the flight had a connection, I think, in New York, so it was going to take 7 or 8 hours. Once we got on the plane, not counting the hours it takes to get through security and get to the airport. So yeah, the train is still a little bit longer, but we'll be able to take our own food. We'll be able to take as much luggage as we want. You get 2 50-pound check bags, 2 50-pound carry-ons, and 2 personal items per person. I don't know why we would need that much for 8 days on the cruise ship, which will turn out to be about a 10 or 12-day trip altogether. And then when I get back up here, I'll have about a week before I start the house sit in Bowling Green. So yes, and I'm debating on whether I go to Texas that week or I go early in October from my North Carolina house sit, which is what I'm thinking I'll do. And then I'll go to the conference I want to go to in Branson the first week of October, and then drive to Texas and get back here within a week to get ready for the cruise. So even though October is going to be a vacation month, it's going to be pretty darn busy, and I'm sure you'll see a lot of videos. Even though I won't be able to post from the cruise, I can film on the cruise. Then they'll all be stored in the little camera, and when I get back to Wi-Fi, I can upload them and release them. So I'm actually rather excited about going on a cruise again. I don't think I've been on one since I moved to Texas, and that was 20 years ago. So I'll be a little more rotund than I was 20, 30 years ago. But hopefully I can get back to closer to that ideal weight before we set sail. That gives me an incentive. And I definitely want to get back to the ideal weight before I go to the low carb conference in Denver in February. So yes, this way of living is giving me all kinds of options I didn't have before. And since I'm not paying rent, I have a little bit of extra money to spend on those kind of things. I will probably take the Amtrak to Denver also. That is in February. And I'm eagerly searching for a house sit out there, but it's a long ways off still. So I have a saved search. I'm also looking to do a little pop-up house stuff here in the next couple of weeks, but let me tell you, this morning I went out to pick up breakfast for my mom and dad. Mom likes those sausage burritos from McDonald's, and I have an app for buy one get one free egg McMuffins, which no is not ideal, but it's not the worst thing you could eat for breakfast either. So anyway, they were sleeping in a little bit today, and I got up and I knew that breakfast ended at 10:30, so about 10 o'clock I ran down there. And last night I had researched senior centers in this area, and there's one between here and the McDonald's. So here comes a plane over. Let me pause it. They have been landing from the north ever since I got here, so that's why I went to the park yesterday, because it's a little further east. And oh, now my phone is overheating. I can see why, so let me wrap this up. Anyway, I went by the senior center, and they offer a lunch, hot lunch every day, but you have to call in by noon the day before, and it's already past noon, so I guess we won't be going tomorrow either. Maybe we'll call for Monday. I think it's a donation basis based on what your income, and they say up to $4 a person, or if you're under 60, so I guess 55 to 60, or if you bring your kids or grandkids along, they want $4. But it's a hot lunch, you know, with lots of carbs and a little bit of meat, I'm sure. Today was pork chops, linguine alfredo, fruit, bread, and something else. Oh, milk. I guess they give milk to everybody. Ugh. Too much sugar for me, but according to Dr. Lustig, the lactose is not a bad sugar to consume, so we'll probably just bring the milks home and take some tea in with us. But I better end this since the phone is overheating. It always does when I'm out here, and then I need to overheat. I need to get on the lounge and get some sun, take this shirt off and get some sun. But since I'm going to be in this area basically 6 weeks, I definitely want to go to that senior center once in a while. You can join as a local resident for $32 a year, or you can pay $3 a time if you're going in for activities, but they said you didn't have to pay that fee. If you only went in for lunch, you can just donate for the lunch. So I'll definitely check it out, probably starting next week. I'll keep you updated on that. But if they offer the service here, I figure my parents ought to be taking advantage of it, since it's only a mile and a half. But of course, this place they live, you can see, is very nice, and they have lots of activities here if they choose to do them. Anyway, so I am doing a little bit of work trying to help them while I'm here, trying not to be a burden. But it's so nice to have all my stuff in storage, except it's kind of a challenge when you have to find something you haven't been using frequently, like my glucose strips and lancets for the Verta program. I packed some. I think they're in the storage barn, but I forgot to look yesterday, so I'll run back over there. It's not far from the park I was at yesterday. Thank you for watching. I'm going to let the phone cool off. Y'all have a great day. Bye-bye.